Thanks for checking out my very first video on Beyond the Gameplays. Today, we're gonna enter the epic world of Black Myth Wukong. It's been 4 long years of waiting since this masterpiece was first teased, and finally, the wait is over. As of August 20th, 2024, the game is officially out for PS5 and PC, with the Xbox Series release just around the corner. Buckle up, cause this one is going to be wild. As mentioned in the title, the story of the games is deeply tied to the legendary figure of Sun Wukong. But don't get it twisted. While most of us may know Sun Wukong from the classic Journey to the West, where he travels to find the sacred scriptures, Black Myth Wukong isn't about that journey at all. So, without further ado, let's dive into the captivating tale of Black Myth Wukong. Thanks to his immense power and dedicated service during the long journey, Wukong was elevated to the rank of Buddha. Specifically, he earned the prestigious title of Buddha of Victorious Fighting, symbolizing his triumphs in battle and his indomitable spirit. However, this new position required Wukong to reside in the heavenly court and follow its strict rules, a lifestyle that clashed with his free-spirited nature. Unsurprisingly, he rejected this way of life and chose instead to retreat to the mountains, where he could live peacefully among his kind, the monkeys. Wukong's defiance once again enraged the Heaven Emperor, prompting him to dispatch a battalion of celestial forces led by Erlang Shen to annihilate the Monkey Clan. The actions of the Heaven Army were utterly ruthless, igniting an overwhelming fury within Wukong. Consumed by anger, he resolved to confront them all, head-on without hesitation. Wukong summoned his trusty somersault cloud to swiftly reach the celestial forces. Once there, he unleashed the full extent of his fury. While he could somewhat comprehend the Heaven Court's anger towards his defiance, the act of wiping out his monkey clan was beyond anything he could accept or forgive. At that very moment, Erlang Shen stepped forward to challenge Wukong to a duel. He declared that it didn't matter who emerged victorious because, in the end, the mountain where Wukong came from would be destroyed regardless. These words only fueled Wukong's rage further, overwhelmed with anger. Wukong swore to dismantle the entire heavenly order once he was done defeating Erlang Shen. At this point, the conflict reached a boiling point, and the intense duel between the two began. Wukong paid no attention to Erlang Shen's attempts to reason with him or persuade him to return to the heavenly court. It soon became clear that Wukong's strength was on an entirely different level, prompting several giant warriors to join forces with Erlang Shen in an effort to bring down the Monkey King. Naturally, Wukong refused to accept such an unfair fight. He challenged Erlang Shen to face him alone in the forest if he dared, before dramatically transforming into a bird, ready for the next move. Erlang Shen, not one to back down, transformed into a bird himself and rushed after Wukong. Unfortunately for Wukong, at the worst possible moment, he was struck by unbearable pain in his head, caused by the enchanted headband he wore. The pain overwhelmed him, sending him plummeting from the skies. This gave Erlang Shen the perfect chance to strike again, launching a blow that sent Wukong crashed into a mountain. No one knows what happened after that. Since that fateful event, Wukong was never seen again, and his story seemed to come to an end. Hundreds of years later, an old monkey, let's call him Old Monkey, gathered a group of fellow monkeys at the peak of Mount Huaguo to share the legend of the Monkey King. On the mountain, there rests a mysterious stone believed to hold the soul of Wukong. Legend has it that, before being sealed within the stone, Wukong split his power into 6 relics and scattered them across China. To this day, no one has ever laid eyes on these relics. Now the old monkey is far too aged to embark on a journey to find them. He holds a steadfast belief that one among the gathered monkeys will rise as the chosen one to reunite the 6 relics. According to the tale, if all 6 relics are brought back to the peak of Mount Huaguo, the Monkey King will be reborn. Thus begins the epic journey of an unnamed monkey, the protagonist of the game known as the Destined One. At the heart of this adventure lies the mission to track down and retrieve the 6 relics of Sun Wukong. With each relic, the Destined One not only grows stronger, but also edges closer to fulfilling the ancient prophecy, bringing the Monkey King back to life. This incredible quest is packed with challenges, mythical foes, and mysteries waiting to be unraveled. With a physique and weaponry reminiscent of Wukong himself, the Destined One sets off towards the first location, Black Wind Mountain. Along the journey, the Destined One encounters various types of demons known as malevolent spirits determined to end his quest and take him down. After dealing with several Yaguai, the Destined One encounters a small, elderly man known as Tutagong, the keeper of the Black Wind Mountain area. Tutagong, or simply called Keeper, immediately recalls the legendary figure of Wukong upon seeing the Destined One's striking resemblance to the Monkey King. The Keeper then points the Destined One toward the path leading to the Guanyan Temple. This temple, once reduced to ashes in a devastating fire, has since been rebuilt, but it now stands abandoned, with not a single soul visiting its sacred grounds. As the Keeper continues explaining, a sudden, chilling howl echoes from the direction of the temple. The eerie sound shakes the Keeper to his core, causing him to panic. In a frightened rush, he leaves, muttering that they haven't forgotten the Destined One, even though the Destined One no longer remembers this place. The journey to retrieve the first relic at Black Wind Mountain is far from easy. Along the way, the Destined One faces Bulgard, a formidable foe blocking his path. The battle seems hopeless, and the Destined One is on the brink of defeat when, just in the nick of time, the Keeper arrives. Using an immobilize spell, the Keeper stops Bulgard in its tracks. In an act of generosity, the Keeper grants the immobilize spell to the Destined One. Armed with this newfound power, the Destined One manages to turn the tide and take down Bulgard, overcoming this daunting challenge. In addition to the immobilize spell, the Keeper grants the Destined One another powerful ability, a transformation spell. Armed with these 2 incredible spells and combat skills that grow stronger with every challenge, the Destined One fearlessly takes on all enemies standing in the way of the relic quest. The first Yaguai boss to appear is Guangzi, a wolf-like creature wielding a fiery, double-headed spear called the Red Tides. After a fierce battle, the Destined One triumphs over Guangji, seizing the Red Tides for himself. With this powerful weapon in hand, the Destined One gains the remarkable ability to transform into Guangji during battles, turning the tides in his favor. Continuing his journey, the Destined One finally arrives at Guanyan Temple, the source of the ominous howl heard earlier. As he steps inside, he is greeted by Ling Shusi, a ferocious giant wolf guarding the temple. However, Ling Shusi proves to be no significant challenge for the Destined One, who swiftly defeats the beast. With the path now clear, the Destined One presses forward, following a trail he believes will lead him to the first relic. This trail brings him face to face with Guangmu, who stands between him and his prize. The names Guangzi and Guangmu triggered the Keeper's memory of a significant event from the past, the very incident that led to the temple's destruction, a tale reserved for the conclusion of Chapter 1. As the Destined One progresses into a watery region, he encounters White-clad Noble, a serpent-like demon assigned by its superior to safeguard the area. Defeated in the duel against the Destined One, White-clad Noble reveals a cryptic hint about the soul of a great elder still residing in the Black Wind Mountain area. White-clad Noble's words turn out to be a vital clue for unlocking a secret in Chapter 1. If 3 great bells located in different places are rung, the Destined One will seemingly be transported back to Guanyan Temple in its past form. There, he will encounter Elder Jinchi, the legendary figure White-clad Noble referred to. Elder Jinchi is overjoyed to see a visitor at his temple, even more so when he notices that the Destined One has brought something of great value. However, his cheerful demeanor abruptly shifts to rage as he catches the scent of the Destined One, which he recognizes all too well. Elder Jinchi accuses the Destined One of stealing the sacred Kasaya and immediately launches an attack, leaving the Destined One with no choice but to defend himself and ultimately defeat the enraged elder. The Destined One acquires a fire-resistant cloak, granting him protection against the relentless flames. As he approaches the summit of the mountain, he encounters Black Wind King, the ruler of Black Wind Mountain. Black Wind King boldly claims to be the one who rebuilt the temple after it was destroyed in the Great Fire. However, upon his defeat in battle, he challenges the Destined One to continue their duel at the very peak of the mountain. Confrontation that promises even greater intensity. Keeper reappears to bestow a new spell upon the Destined One, known as Cloud Step. This powerful spell grants the ability to vanish into mist for a brief moment, adding an element of strategy and agility to his arsenal. Wasting no time, the Destined One employs this newfound skill to confront every enemy in his path while steadily advancing toward the summit of the mountain. Upon reaching the summit, the Destined One is greeted by Black Wind King, who now reveals his true form, a colossal bear known as Black Bear Gwahi. In the climactic showdown, the Destined One emerges victorious in their extended duel. However, unwilling to accept defeat, Black Bear Gwahi decides to flee, taking the relic with him in hopes of rebuilding his dominion elsewhere. The unexpected happens. Black Bear Gwahi struggles to contain the immense power of the relic, leading to a massive explosion that leaves him incapacitated. Realizing his utter defeat, he apologizes to both Sun Wukong and the Destined One, confessing that his actions were purely driven by orders from the Heavenly Court. The Destined One retrieves the first relic, revealed to be a fragment of Wukong's eye. Chapter 1 concludes with an animation depicting the events at Guanyin Temple. This chapter delves into the tale behind one of the incidents in Journey to the West. The story begins with Guangxi, the wolf demon. From a young age, Guangxi harbored a dream of becoming human. In pursuit of this dream, he often disguised himself as a human to play in the city. However, no matter how hard he tried, his disguise was always uncovered due to his inability to behave like a human. Guangxi's longing to live alongside humans drove him to plead with his master Ling Shuzi. In response, Ling Shuzi sought the help of his close friend, Black Bear Gwahi, to transform Guangxi into a monk. Accepting the request, Black Bear Gwahi turned Guangxi into a monk and placed him under the tutelage of Elder Jinchi. One fateful day, monk Temps visited the Guanyin Temple, accompanied by Sun Wukong. Elder Jinchi, hosting their arrival, became utterly captivated by the sight of Monk Tang's kasaya. Blinded by his overwhelming greed, Elder Jinchi succumbed to the temptation of stealing Monk Tang's sacred kasaya. Guangxi, driven by his deep sense of gratitude toward Elder Jinchi, resolved to steal Monk Tang's kasaya to fulfill his master's desires. On the other hand, Guangmo, disillusioned and angry with Elder Jinchi's greed, harbored far darker intentions. Determined to harm both Guangxi and Elder Jinchi, Guangmu schemed to exploit their actions to catastrophic ends. He cunningly manipulated them into a plan to set Monk Tang's quarters ablaze while the monk was asleep. As the fire began, initiated by Guangxi, Guangmu seized the moment to spread the flames to the entire temple. With a gust of fierce wind, he turned the blaze into an uncontrollable inferno, engulfing Guanyin Temple in destruction. The devastation was total. Guanyin Temple burned to the ground, claiming the lives of all the monks within. Monk Tempsi and Sun Wukong narrowly escaped the inferno, while Guangxi fled overwhelmed by the gravity of his actions. Stricken with guilt and unable to bear the consequences of his greed, Elder Jinchi took his own life. In the aftermath, Black Bear Gwahi stepped in, rebuilding Guanyin Temple. However, he had ulterior motives using a fragment of Wukong's relic. He deceived the Yogwayi into submitting to his rule, consolidating his power atop the mountain. And thus concludes Chapter 1 of our journey, a tale of ambition, betrayal, and the echoes of a fiery past that still linger today. The story of the Destined One has only just begun, as the first relic is claimed and the stakes grow ever higher. What new trials await on the horizon? What other truths remain hidden, veiled in the mists of time and legend? Stay tuned, as the next chapter will unravel more secrets, present greater challenges, and bring us closer to the ultimate legacy of Sun Wukong. If you enjoyed this chapter, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps support the journey and ensures you won't miss the next thrilling installment. See you in Chapter 2!
You have some cheap tricks! Meet me at the summit if you dare!
The spell spell he just cast may appear intricate, but it's not hard to learn. But Black Bear's expertise is lacking. Serving Guan Yin didn't help him much. But what he left here could surely help us.